All right. Welcome back to Thoughts in Stereo. This is episode 18. I've been forgetting to introduce ourselves. Jumping right into it. I'm Bijan Amir.
I'm Nick Henriquez.
And today we have, please introduce yourself, our very valued guest.
My name is T, spelled T-E-E.
T-E-E.
Yes.
Like P, but with a T.
I guess you could put it that way if it helps you remember
That's
it a little
one way.
bit easier.
I need something easier to remember that name by.
Yeah, there you go.
Please give us a list of your, what's your resume? You have a very, very impressive resume. Please.
Coming out big year, 2019.
Oh, shit. I mean, some of the things you guys might know me for would be I worked on Alessia Cara's Here. I also worked on Drake's Too Good. This was back a couple years ago. And most recently last year, I had a cut with Meghan Trainor and Cascade, a song called With You. And right now, if you're in Canada, you get to hear the song called Gravity that I did with Ralph, an up-and-coming Canadian artist.
Is that song out?
That song's out right now.
Is it on the radio?
It just hit top 20 last week.
This week? I heard it in the car, and I was like,
I was going to say,
Oh, thank you.
Because you know what? I heard it in the car. I didn't know what it was, and V was like, "Yo, T worked on this," and I was like, "No way! Let me hear this." And I listened for it. And I was like, "Yo,
pick this apart now.
Yo, this is sick. Holy
Let me see what snare drum he used on this.
Let me go through this so I know which stems to ask for.
Exactly.
No, those are very, very, very fire. Here by Alessia Cara. I mean, that's a smash. Like, did you do that with Oak Felder?
Yes.
He's a great guy.
Yes,
I'm a big fan.
he's incredible.
Yeah, that's a great record. Obviously, the other ones as well. I just hear I love that song so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. But there's some other things outside of producing that you do.
Yes.
You do a lot of stuff on Instagram in terms of music education.
Yep.
You're also an Ableton certified. What is it?
A certified trainer. Yes.
Yeah, that's.
I'll happily fill in that sentence for you.
Yeah. I was gonna say trainer, but I wasn't sure if that was the right word. I just wanted you to say that. So tell us a little bit about that. Like what made you want to do that?
I've always been passionate about the teaching side of things. I taught piano growing up, and the thing for me was at first I got into it just because I wanted to get better at using Ableton Live. I wanted to kind of know the ins and outs of that software, and so when this program came up, I thought this was a good opportunity to kind of do that and also be a part of that community. But I think what I got out of it was a lot more. I like really learned how to connect with like people on a teacher-student level, and I learned a lot more about what it takes to be a good teacher in terms of inspiring your students, and obviously on top of that, knowing Ableton Live inside out. But and honestly, meeting some of the other certified trainers that got certified at that event was incredible. Yeah.
There's a lot.
You actually like realize how much you don't know about Ableton Live, and I thought I knew quite a bit. So it's that was a very humbling experience. Yeah,
but a good experience.
Great experience. Yeah,
excellent.
Yeah.
I can only imagine. Like I remember taking a look a couple of years ago at maybe trying to do the certification course.
Yeah,
and I just like read what you got to do to like apply. I was like, this is already too much fucking work.
Yeah. It's definitely a big hurdle.
I think I know quite a bit about Ableton.
Yeah.
And I use it every day, and it's I know what I need to know.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I'll like go through all of the audio effects and like just read through them and realize that I only use like 4 of them.
Yeah.
And there's like 40.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that has to go into
there's some hidden gems in there, but I still think like sometimes like you just gotta know what you gotta know, and there's nothing wrong with that either. But obviously nothing wrong with knowing what your options are as well. Yeah.
What made you want to get the certification?
I think it goes back to me mentioning earlier my passion for teaching and really giving back, and I love helping other people and other producers, other music makers, just in general.
Right.
Understanding the technology and like just helping people learn. I love sharing knowledge. So that had a huge part with that. And then you know, like you said, outside of production, I'm trying to get more into the space of developing a platform where I can kind of help, where I can build tools and give resources and kind of help other producers in terms of, you know, either stepping up their game or finding new ways to get inspired. So that's it's still kind of in the works right now, but I felt that, you know, getting my certification would help me in that area in terms of promoting that, you know, resource, that platform.
Yeah, I think everyone got to check out T's Instagram at Music by T, because he's always posting like tips and new VSTs that he found that are like not even new out, just like newly discovered, that like, you know, I've found some hidden gems just
appreciate
from your Instagram.
Yes, thank you.
But yeah, definitely check that out. It's where I found all my shit.
Have you been doing music your whole life? Is that always what you wanted to do?
No, I actually wasn't sure of it until probably university. Yeah. So I mean, I got forced into piano by my parents.
Right.
Like a you know, like a good old Asian I am.
How old were you when they made you do piano?
Like when I was 4, like 5 or some shit.
That's good though.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's good.
Yeah.
I do wish my parents made me stay, and because I started piano lessons and I started guitar lessons, and they let me quit both.
How far did you get?
Like one
piano?
lesson. Like I went to one lesson.
Not even one grade. Just
they
one
taught
lesson?
me how to. They taught me how to hold like the apple in your hand, and then you gotta be like this at the piano, like the hand shapes.
And you were like, I'm done.
And
with
then
that
I was
shit.
like, I don't want to do this.
Apples. I'm trying to make music.
Trying to make beats, mom.
yeah. So I my mom cracked the whip on me for that. So
That's good.
Hated every second of it, but so.
I bet you're
so,
thanking her
so
now.
grateful.
There was one time I was at T's studio and I saw this like piece of music on the wall. It was like sheet music, and I was like, "Oh, what is this?" And he's like, "Oh, it's my final graduation piece." What was
Yeah,
it?
like
Something
a
like that.
recital piece.
Yeah, it was for my ARCT teacher's diploma.
And,
I know
and
it's a
I was
mouthful.
like, "Can you play this?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, I'll grab it off the wall for you." He's like, "I don't need to look at it anymore." And he sits down at the piano and just goes, blah, 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 and just goes nuts on the piano. It's
Like
so
burned
crazy.
into your memory.
Yeah, it is deeply ingrained.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So then you started at 4. In between you deciding you wanted to do music and then or before you decided that you wanted to do music, you know, what was the plan? Like, what did you want to do?
I honestly, I didn't know, man. I thought I just wanted to make a boatload of money and call it a day.
Just the snap of the old thing.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I want to make my parents happy, so you know, I did my piano thing. I went to university.
Where'd you go to university?
I went to McGill.
Nice. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
For what?
At first, I got in for science, but then I ended up somehow in finance.
Oh, nice.
Of course, the snap of the finger
Okay,
money.
smart guy over here. You got a smart guy.
Yo, all that shit went down the drain, though, man.
No,
honestly.
don't say that. It definitely didn't.
It did, man. It did.
One day you'll see.
Oh no. Yeah, I barely even went to class, man.
Fair enough.
It was bad.
When you weren't going to class, what were you doing?
Video games.
Nice.
Yeah,
Totally. Totally.
there's a lot of video games and a lot of weed smoking.
Excellent. As any good
Mom, I hope
university-
you're not listening to this. So.
Sorry, Miss T.
Yeah.
So, but continue. So, when you do music full time now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when was it?
Thankfully.
Was there ever a point where you were doing music as a job, but also had like a second job? Like, were you doing?
Yeah, when I was first starting out, so after university, I was fortunate enough to get into. That's kind of when I realized, you know, I'm not really liking what I'm doing right now, and I was for the first time just, you know, going off my gut and following a passion and following my passion of just like making music. So I met a good friend. Her name's Alexandra Samalius, and she actually encouraged me to go to Metalworks at the time.
Nice.
So that's when I did the 1-year program, and for the first time in my life, like tried really hard in school.
Really?
And then after that,
I heard that program is like damn near impossible.
Really?
damn near impossible in terms of
Like it's just ridiculously hard.
I mean, they throw a lot. They throw a lot at you.
I heard it's like
I've never even looked into it.
Yeah, they throw a lot at you. It was definitely a great experience.
In terms of what's so, sorry to cut you off. What's so hard about it?
It's a lot that you would just. It's a lot of like stuff that you just got to study for, and even like the final project was pretty time consuming because like
It's majority like engineering.
yeah, it is a lot of engineering. Honestly, it wasn't like what I thought I really wanted to do because I just wanted to make music,
Yeah,
right? I didn't really care about signal flow and learning consoles and stuff like that, but it like in hindsight, it really helped me understand a lot of the things that are going on in a studio session, in a room, and like just understanding, like I get what that piece of gear does. I get what this whole rack of gear does, and I understand like I get signal flow in a console. It's pretty cool. Like I can actually troubleshoot something if something were to go down. So that experience in hindsight was great. But you know, at the time, I just want to make shit from my laptop, and I didn't really care about all that stuff. But no, it was very eye-opening. And like, for example, the final project, we had to like record a full band, and we had to make sure that we used elements like live acoustic elements from all that stuff. So that was like the first time I even ever recorded a band.
Wow.
Right? So and I don't even make that kind of music. So that was a really cool experience. But yeah, a lot of stuff was like time consuming in terms of like just having to study, you know, signal flow and like what EQ, compression, all that stuff does, and spending time in the studio. So it's a pretty comprehensive program. Yeah.
So you jumped to Metalworks, and then what was after that?
I did a couple internships. I did an internship right after Metalworks first with Gavin Brown, who's a rock producer.
Yeah.
Won multiple Junos.
Yeah, Gavin's an OG Canadian.
Gavin's an OG Canadian.
He's the king of Canadian rock on the radio.
Does he have like a private studio downtown in Toronto somewhere? It's like a house?
I'm not sure about that anymore because this was like, oh wow, we're in 2020, so 9 years ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was 9 years ago. Did that for a couple months. It was a great experience in terms of, you know, really opening my eyes in terms of what the industry is really like, what being in a real studio session's like, studio etiquette, really understanding studio etiquette and knowing your fucking role.
See?
Knowing your fucking role
funny?
is everything.
The past 4 episodes that we've done, we've talked about knowing your role in the studio session every time. Because it's such a massive thing.
It's so massive.
That not a lot of people can understand.
What did you learn about studio etiquette when you were there?
Shut the fuck up. Like, shut the fuck up and just shut the fuck up.
Do what you're told when you're told to do it.
Number one and number two.
Yeah. No, golden rule, shut the fuck up and just observe intelligently. Keep your thoughts to yourself. They might be thoughts in stereo, but keep them to yourself.
Oh my god. I can't believe you just dropped that one.
Had to do it, man. Had to do it.
Oh my god. All right.
Keep your thoughts to yourself, and just be as helpful as you possibly can.
Right.
You know? And like, I know it's a lot of common sense things, but common sense to me is not common sense. So I have to say it is common. It's just have sense.
Right.
Yeah.
I hear that.
So I did that for a couple months. And then, you know, I needed money. So I was scrambling for a couple jobs. I worked as a TA at my school. And then I was doing, I was working at a banquet at the same time, so I was running a couple jobs.
Grinding.
Had to make that money back. So then, eventually, the year after, I found an internship with Kuya Productions, and this was super random because they tweeted out that they were looking for an intern, and I don't even use Twitter, but for somehow
It was like you just happened to come across it.
no, somehow, thankfully, when I set up Twitter, I set up my Twitter to receive notifications via SMS.
Okay.
So then one of my friends tagged me in that post, and I was like, and I got a text notification from it. So I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna check that out. And yeah, so I went there and I started doing some tracking and basic mixing, and a lot of the stuff that I learned from my internship with Gavin really came into play, because the guys with Gavin they're all Pro Tools wizards, and so like my Pro Tools chops like really helped me solidify that gig, and then I've been with them ever since. This is since 2012. I started out as an intern with Kuya Productions and kind of worked my way up. They gave me a chance, listened to some of my music, and then took me on as part of their creative process, where I contributed here and there, and then next thing I knew, I was sitting in sessions with Alessia Cara, and then it's so they really opened the doors for me and mentored me and gave me a chance, and pretty much like taught me most of the things that I know today.
So when you started with them, is that when you would say that you had like like how do you say this? I guess the most clear idea that you really wanted to do music versus like at any other point in your life? Was that like the point where you're like, okay, this is what I'm going to do, like this is it, like I'm going to be a musician? Or was it like the metalworks time? Like when was it that you decided, all right, now my life is dedicated to production and to engineering or whatever you were doing?
I think even like as I was doing metalworks, to like right after metalworks, like I was pretty committed to doing. That's why I tried so hard at school. Like I saw a future in this. But as you guys all know, it's a fucking roller coaster, right? And
that's why I asked, because I know some people that did metalworks and then they stopped doing, like that was it. Like,
right. Well, I mean, there's like a bunch of people graduated, but there's like, I mean, now it's like been 10 years. There's only a handful of people that are still sticking around, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So it's tough, and like I'm not gonna lie, emotionally, like I've been through all the ups and downs where like I've thought about quitting. I've thought about, so I think that's a constant thing where you're like, you go through some self-doubt, but then you kind of weather the storm, and then you, it's just a game of longevity, right?
If you don't mind me asking, and you definitely can say no, how old were you when you started at Metalworks?
I was 22 or 23.
22 or 23.
Yeah.
So I think that's so important for people to know, because you, again, like you said, that was pretty much when you realized like you were going to do music.
Yeah, so, I think right after university. Yeah,
right after university. So you're about what, like 21, 22 at the time?
Yeah.
It's so important for people to know, because I know so many people that are young kids, 17, 18, 19, whatever, thinking that they have to know what they're going to do right at that age.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I feel even now that I'm like, shit, I'm getting older. I'm 22, and I'm getting older, and I haven't accomplished enough yet. There's like this. I'm sure you feel it too.
Yeah,
I'm sure everyone feels it. You feel like you never feel like you've done enough at this point. But I know exactly what you mean. That there are a lot of people that are like 20,
even
19,
younger,
18, that are like, oh, I haven't figured it out yet. I'm not good. I haven't. Even people that are trying to be producers, songwriters, like, oh, I haven't got a placement yet.
Yeah.
I haven't done this yet. I'm
going to drop out of school because it's not working for me. They're like 18.
Yeah.
And it sucks, because it sucks, and not because there's these bad examples that are just like really, really great situations and hardworking people, like, for example, Wonder Girl.
Yeah.
And she was like 15 and she plays a song with Jay-Z or something like
16,
that.
yeah.
16, 15, whatever.
Yeah.
But like people see that and they're like, oh man, there's like a bunch of these 16-year-olds
but that's
that
not
are getting
norm.
But that's not normal at
people
all.
think it is.
Yeah, because people think what happens on Instagram is normal.
Exactly. And people think that if it happens to one person, like now all of a sudden everyone can do it.
Yeah.
Which is like, I mean, it's very, very specific situations, yes, those things happen, but that's why I asked you, because you've been doing this for a long time. You've had a lot of success, but it wasn't like you were 17 sitting there like, yeah, sick, all right, producing, here it comes.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And you weren't saying like, oh, if it doesn't work out, then I'm giving up. Like, you really stuck through it.
Yeah, you know what? But I think there's nothing wrong with, like, I still feel like I don't truly know what I fully 1000% want to do.
Of
like
course.
music production and songwriting is maybe a big chunk of it right now.
Right.
But I don't think there's anything wrong with like the continued like discovery of yourself.
No,
and
you're right.
And I don't think everyone, like, I'm sure that there are a few people that know 1000% what they want to do, but you know, I feel like I'm still on that path of discovery.
Exactly.
And then I know for a fact that I'm probably not going to feel the same way about music production and songwriting. I don't know, next year, in 5 years, in 10 years. Like I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know, and I'm very open to that.
Yeah, that's why like I want like to definitely to stress that point, and for listeners and people that hit us up and people that hit me up, and I'm sure Nick as well. But like to know that just because you don't know 1,000% or you don't know for sure if it's going to work out right now, don't. Yes, it can be discouraging, but don't let it get you super down. Like still focus, still try to get your I mean, like, how do you put this? Even though, you could be young, it's not working out right now, you think you've been doing it for a long time, there's people that have worked towards things for 8 years, 9 years before something really big is hit for them. So, some people, if you're doing it for 2 years, 3 years, and you still feel like that's a long time and you haven't doing it, just keep pushing through it, because at the end of the day, if you keep working hard and you're passionate about things, it's going to work out. And if you don't know what you're going to do 100%, 1,000%, that's fine as well.
Even if you think you know 1,000% what you're going to do, be open to your mind changing.
Yes.
And like you thinking differently.
That's a big thing.
Don't think that the world is ending because now you realize, oh my God, no, I don't like this anymore. Like I have to start again. No, think about how you can use things that you've learned in your life. There are many transferable skills. There are a lot of things you can pivot off of, if you have any kind of relevant skill. So I know a lot of people like panic when they're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I don't know. And they start panicking, but you don't have to, think about that. There's people that are in their 30s, 40s that change career paths, that change their life, just because you're 20 years old and you want to drop out of school and make music, power to you, but like, don't feel like that's your only option. There are many different things that you can do, and take time to figure it out. A lot of our listeners are young. You guys have a lot of time to figure things out. Don't feel the need to be 1,000% sure of what you're going to do right now, because things will work out if you're passionate and you work hard. So no matter what, I believe that it always works out for those kind of people. So
100%.
I just want to slide that in there.
Yeah. No, that's a good little thing there. Yeah.
I want to ask, how did you guys meet? Because Nick, you introduced me to T in LA.
Yeah. So I went to.
Okay, you first.
Right after I finished school in LA, I moved home and I went to my first ever writing camp as like a brand new songwriter producer, and I met this amazing singer songwriter named Matthew Chame.
Yes, that's how. Yeah.
And Matthew,
he was like, "You start," because I don't remember.
but Matthew Chame, I like always loved his voice, and every time he's from Montreal, and every time he would come to Toronto, we'd work. And one time he's like, "Yo, you gotta get in with this guy T. Like, I just think you guys would vibe really well." And I was like, weird. I was like, why would you like put those two together? Like, people don't usually put, like, at the time I didn't know, but I was like, oh, people don't usually put two producers in the same room. Whatever, sure, I'll go meet up with them, let's do it. And we made some fire ass beat, and then we did it.
That was Recovery, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, wow,
that was so sick.
Do you guys remember the name?
I remember the name of that,
because I walked in and I was like, I love Majid Jordan. He's like, I love Majid Jordan too, let's do it.
yeah.
So
it was that simple.
It was literally that easy. And then we just kept working, and now because I don't play instruments, and T's an incredible instrumentalist and producer, I enjoy having him as a co-producer because I feel like we complement each other really well. Like,
because they're like a yin and a yang.
I 100% agree with that. Like, this guy thinks very outside the box, and I think because I have a musical background, I'm structured a certain way, and I like that Nick has this other perspective of everything, like even drums, like especially drums actually. Like
I've noticed that like we run studio sessions well together, like we did at the camp in LA that we were all at, where you guys met. I remember we were doing a couple sessions with like Brandon and stuff like that, and it was cool because it was kind of like, you would be catering to the writers as I was working on something quickly, and then you would go in with the engineer, and I would be with the writers for a second. And it was a really nice kind of like, not everyone knows their position, but everyone's working really perfectly.
There's flow
in this flow right now.
Yeah, there's flow.
Yeah.
Would you say having like a co-producer like that as a producer is an important?
Yeah. If I could have T in every session, I would.
Oh,
I love this guy.
Oh my God, look at these guys.
I
Look
do.
at these guys.
Stop this.
That's so sweet.
Stop this.
But no, I definitely agree. Like, it's really nice to have that kind of synergy like that.
Yeah.
It really makes sessions a lot easier, and it really helps. Like when Nick, maybe is stuck on something, and T jumps in, he's like, "How about this?" And then that inspires Nick to do a whole new set of ideas. And then Nick's like, "Oh, how about we try?" I'm sure you guys bounce really well off each other.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, you guys bounce between working with the writer and the engineer. And I think that's a really great way of working. So
I think it's always nice, even if it's not a co-producer, even if it's just someone in the room that you're super comfortable with.
Yes,
that you trust.
I'm 100% agree.
That makes it so much easier and so much more fun sometimes in sessions.
I used to be against doing co-productions, but I've learned, like what you just said, like there's people that you just, it's like seamless, like you're in and that's it. That's like you're one person. So it's definitely like something like if we have any listeners that are maybe a little more closed off or they're not really comfortable with other people, I do encourage you guys to go in with another co-producer, because yes, not everyone is going to work like Nick and like how well Nick and T work, but even if it's not, you're going to learn something, or you're going to come out of there with more valuable experience. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then you're going to find that one person or those few people that you really work well with, and then it's going to really take you to the next level. So
I can't stress that enough. Collaboration is like the thing I preach the most. I think just that point you touched on right there, even if it doesn't go well, you learn so much from that, because you learn the types of experiences that you want to weed out in the future. You learn more about yourself. You learn more about your skill set and what you bring to the table, and how you can be, the piece to other people's puzzles.
That's
And I think that's the biggest thing is learning about yourself, really. So yeah, I'm all for that collaboration in every sense of the way.
100% learning about yourself. I was going to say, as soon as you said that, yes, because even if a session goes poorly, you can walk out of there, if anything, learning what you bring to the table, and knowing what you bring to the table is so important, because that's how you can kind of also relieve some of that that session anxiety when you walk in, like, oh my God, can I do this?
Pit in your stomach.
Yeah, like, can I do this? Like, if you've done it before, you're good. If you know that maybe this isn't your strong suit, you say no to the session.
Yeah,
that's how but you have to go through one of them at least to know, what's the situation. So it's really good to get to know yourself. And people are nervous to get into one session. I get that, but definitely take the jump. Collabing is so key. It's like, I can't even, like, obviously I know you agreed, like, we can't stress this enough. Like, and T is a prime example. You're a big collaborator. You're very open to collaboration.
I think I only work like I can't even make music on my own now.
See?
It's actually fucked up. Like I can't do it anymore.
I used to exclusively work alone, and like I said before, that first writing camp I ever did, I didn't really know. I wasn't opened up to the producer-songwriter world, because I was just producing music, trying to be my own thing. I didn't know that even singers and producers got in the room together. I had no idea.
Right.
So when someone was trying to, like, even if I was working on like a club track with another DJ, it'd be like, I'm going to work on this in my studio, and then I'm going to send this to you to work on alone in your studio. Because we don't work together. Like, no one works together. And finding out that people get in the room, and like 5, 6 people get in the room together and make a song, that's a lot of people, but first of all, but like, that's fun. That's like a party. You know what I mean? Like that it ends up being so fun.
Yeah, it is. It's a great time. T, can you kind of, I know I'm sure you get this question a lot, but now we're doing the podcast, so you have to answer. Can you shed a little light on the process of working on the Alessia Cara song, the Drake song, Meghan Trainor? Is it secret, or can you give us a little bit of insight onto how those sessions were, how those songs came about?
No, I mean, there's no secret to it. With the Alessia Cara, I'll just briefly go over those. Once again, this is why I stress collaboration, because in every one of those songs, it was a collaborative effort, albeit all in very different ways.
Sure.
So the Alessia Cara one, we were originally in the session with Alessia Sebastian, who was Sebastian Cole, the writer, and Kuya, which is Bobby and Sammy.
Gotcha.
So it was the 5 of us, and we came up with the original demo, and it was cool because that was my first time meeting Alessia as well.
Sick.
And you know, she was talking about we were just like, oh, yo, what's popping? And I think it was, I forgot what day it was, but yeah, she literally talked about how she went to a party last night and it was shit and she didn't want to be there.
Really?
And that just became the whole song. So it was so organic. It was almost like too real.
That's awesome.
It was like
what,
completely like
that's so
verbatim,
awesome.
like so real.
That's
So
pretty cool.
so then, you know, we cooked up the original demo, and then, you know, after she got, I don't know if she got signed first or whatever, but somehow it got into Pop and Oak's hands, and you know, they did their magic, and you know, props to Pop and Oak. They're amazing producers. So you know, they took that shit to the next level, and then it became here.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Damn.
That's so that was the first time you had met her.
that was the first time I had met her in person. Yeah.
But had you guys worked remotely before?
No. It was kind of like, oh, there's this new artist, like T, you want to jump in the session, and you know, it was just like any other session. I was just like, yeah, why not?
And then
You
it
know?
just blew.
and then it just
up.
it was. I was like, oh, who's Alessia Cara?
See, that's, and again,
That's why you just like, you never know. You never know.
We
man.
Never
literally talk about
know.
this. 10 years ago, when Kendrick Lamar started rapping under K Dot, he was that person sending out, you know, on MySpace, being like, producers send me beats, and producers back then were probably like, yeah, okay, buddy.
Yeah,
Who
yeah,
is this
exactly.
guy?
Yeah.
Right, whatever. Who is this guy? Drake, same thing. You
Yeah.
know, hey, send me beats. Like, they're like, this kid came off a TV show, he started
Yeah.
rapping. Yeah,
Yeah.
get out of here.
Yeah.
But that's why you never know. Like, I'm not going to say send beats to literally everybody that
Yeah.
you know comes across your desk, but you know, if they're not absolutely, like, if you're on the same level roughly, or there's a new artist and you see the talent and you like them,
Yeah.
there's no harm in trying it.
Yeah,
At least
I
in
agree.
one session.
I
That
agree.
one session turned out to be a huge
That one
song.
session changed my life.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Like how it goes
and
for our
when you
segment,
went into
yeah.
that session, it was just another session.
When I went into that session, I had like there was no it was literally just another session.
That's right.
I had no idea. Like,
And here's
idea.
the thing. We talk about going into sessions and trying to make the best of every session and trying to, you know, stay positive and not call a session quits and see it through.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure we've all been into sessions where we don't get a song. You know,
Oh, yeah.
You go in, you work for a couple hours, and you're like, you know what, today just wasn't working.
yeah,
And imagine if one of you guys in that session was just not in a good mood and called it and was like, you know what, guys, maybe we'll try again another time. We're not going to do this right now. That song wouldn't have happened.
yeah,
That's crazy to think about. Don't forget that. People.
yes.
Always try and at least get a bounce.
See
or
it
at
through.
least
No,
get something
I
to see it through.
highly encourage. Unless it's like
You've tried 3 ideas.
Yeah.
yeah, and like someone is really having a shitty day, like they just broke up or some shit. Then
Yes.
like, you know, you got to be a little sympathetic. But like, I 100% agree that you should leave a session with a bounce. And like, I have so many times writers tell me that they're like, oh my god, I went in that last session in like
I can't
3 weeks. I can't believe this producer haven't sent me anything. It's
Yeah,
like,
you
oh
hear
my god,
that a
like,
lot.
oh. So don't be that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
Don't be that guy.
And then the Drake record and all that.
Oh, the Drake record. So I guess this one's more about like actually like just fucking relationships. So like one of my boys that I met at Metalworks, his name's Travis. Travi. Shout out DJ TJ Travi. He was with OVO at the time, and we were all living together. Like Travis and I and another friend of ours, writer friend named Adam. We were all living together, and Travi brought in Manish, who was one of the producers with OVO,
Right.
and then we just kind of kicked it and jammed out an idea. And like literally it was another one of those things where I didn't even think we're having a session. Like this guy just came over
for
to
fun,
our
yeah.
crib, and we were just kicking it, and then we just made something, and that turned out to be the the foundation of what was Too Good, because I guess 85 took that and kind of did his own thing to it, sped it up and added his touch to it, and yeah, so that one I was a little less involved in the sense where I wasn't really in on the production like that, but on the final production like that. But we made the original idea that sparked Too Good,
which is just as important.
Yeah,
because that record would not have happened had you not done
and I learned, because I used to, before I would be like, I wasn't as hands on with certain records as other ones, and I wouldn't feel as much as I was a part of it, kind of, so to speak. But no, at the end of the day, it's like, and this is why I have so much respect for everyone that's in any part of the creative process of bringing that idea to life, because without honestly any one of those parts, the song wouldn't have come to life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know that you said you originally didn't want to be in this industry as an engineer. You wanted to be a producer.
Yeah.
But you happened to engineer one of the biggest songs of the decade that we didn't even mention. I totally forgot to mention it.
Which one?
Flume.
Oh shit!
Yes, the song that made Flume who Flume God. Is Never Be Like You, featuring Kai.
Yes,
T engineered those vocals.
Those vocals were recorded in my closet. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. That was really cool. That was super cool. So yeah, me and Kai, we met back in Metalworks, and at the time, I was doing a lot of vocal engineering for her, like just tracking her, and she was getting attention from like Diplo, Flume, and all those guys. So she would just get all these beats from these guys and like come to me, and she'll be like, oh, like let's record some ideas over there. And I'm just like hearing all these like unreal, yeah. So I heard Never Be Like You like probably like 10 revisions before it was the Never Be Like You beat, and then there's the other one that ended up going to Tovlo. So it was just super cool being a part of that. Like I was just fanboying out hard. But
that just goes to show, like, you didn't even want to be an engineer, but you ended up engineering this.
No, but that's because like Kai's amazing, man. She is just an incredible vocalist, incredible writer, and I just wanted to be a part of like her journey,
For sure.
And we did a couple songs together. We actually wrote something for Adventure Club like way back.
Nice.
So that was really cool. But no, she's incredible. Like I'll do that any day for that girl, man. Yeah. So that ended up working out where like she had like 5 Flume beats, and then she's like, oh, which one should we do? I was like, oh yeah, that one's sick. Damn. And then she recorded some vocal passes over it, and then ended up finishing the song, and then months later it was Never Be Like You, and the beat sounded completely different, and I was like, what the at first I wasn't a fan of it, but then it that one like slowly grew on me.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Do you do a lot? Would you say you do more, like, what's the main genre of music that you do right now?
Pop music.
Yeah,
I know that's like it's a very broad genre right now, but I would say I like timeless pop music.
Gotcha.
If there's like, I know that's not really a genre, but
but you could tell.
I
Stuff that
think
doesn't feel like a fad.
Yes, and something that like my mom would listen to, but also like I would listen to, and also like maybe teenagers would also listen to, like that like I like hitting that space. I love pop melodies. I love writing a great pop song. So whether it's like a little urban touch to it, or it's just like straight on pop, or I think pop is my main thing right now.
How has pop changed since you started making it?
I think it's gotten a lot less cheesy.
You think so?
Yeah, production wise. I think the arrangement's a little bit more clever, but in a way it's also more simplified. I think it's gotten back more to like just having great songs, like singer-songwriter vibes. Like I think it's also like, I think pop is like everything now at the same time, right? Like you have hip hop songs that are pop, and you have like people rapping, and that's pop. So it's really everything. But I feel like catchy melodies and structure is still the backbone of pop.
Gotcha. And when you're making a pop record, it's not like you just make the beat and you send it off to the artist. It's a lot of times you're sitting down. Right?
I never prefer doing that.
Yeah.
I like that. That to me.
It's much less of a chance to place the song.
Yeah, it just doesn't. I don't feel like there's good results from that. At least from the writers I work with.
Right.
I feel like there's more of a connection when I'm in the room with them, and I'm like, we're actually talking about the concept, and we're actually like that. You can feel the energy waves like vibing off each other, and you can kind of cater the production to, you know, the mood of the song, and really like how you can highlight the storytelling of it. I don't know. There's just a lot more synergy, and there's a lot more I can go off of when I'm in the room with that person. But that's specific to what I'm doing. You know, I know there's a lot of instances where you can fire out beats and like you have an amazing top liner and they just do the thing and fucking shit becomes a smash.
It's like a lot of hip hop stuff. You're sending out packs, you know,
and that works too. That's just not necessarily my like. I can make a dope track here and there, but I would prefer to like build something from scratch and build something.
I find that when I do send out pop or like even sometimes dance instrumentals, for someone to top line on, I get it. We smile like that for. Can't talk today. I feel like when I get a vocal sent back to me, it feels like it was just a vocal that was dropped onto my song. It doesn't feel like one.
That's exactly
thing.
it. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's that I could not have explained that
better.
better.
No one has more like no one that's involved in that song now has the full attachment as they do when they're in the room, hearing it be produced or hearing it being written while they're there. It's just more of a connection to the song. Really.
Yeah. Now, I mean, if you add on production after the fact, like that's cool.
Sure.
But in terms of like actually making the song in the first place, like I think it's important that everyone's in the room.
For sure.
Yeah.
When it comes to sound design, you're a big sound designer.
Yeah, I'd like to think I'm pretty into that.
I've seen you do sound design. I know you're a big sound designer. But when you do it, like, what's important for you in a good sound? Like, what's important in like your drums or your synth or your guitar or whatever, piano? Like, what's important for you when you're designing a sound or you're picking a sound? Like, you know, what are you listening for?
I think the most important thing, actually, that's a great question, is context. So like it depends, because like I would say it depends on what is the song. Like maybe like if the song is a really dark kind of vibey thing, then your snare doesn't need to be super abrasive. Mm-hmm. Then you would look for maybe a more mellow snare or like some kind of like a synthy like blop or some shit. Like I think it's all context, and then it's a matter of, you know, then execution of like actually finding that sound or being able to design the sound the way you're hearing it in your head. But I think first and foremost context, because that defines what sound you're even going to look for. Right.
Yep.
Context and vision.
100%. Nick, do you have any more questions for T?
No, I think we covered a lot today.
I think we did. I think we really got him. We really extracted the information. So T, I'm very grateful for you coming by.
This was such an amazing experience. A pleasure, man.
I'm glad that you feel that way, because I sure didn't. I'm just kidding. I'm just totally kidding with you. You are extremely knowledgeable in a lot of things music related. Your Instagram is a gold mine for up and coming producers. I swear to God. Everyone.
I'm not saying this because he's on the podcast or because we're homies,
seriously.
but like you really do have to follow his Instagram. There's a lot of useful stuff on there that he teaches me new stuff with every post. It's and I'm not just saying that. I'm not.
Give us the Instagram handle. What is it?
It's at Music by T. So that's TEE in case you forgot that rhyme. It's a P with a P with a T as that's how Bijan will remember it. So
just in case you guys have trouble remembering things too. But no, at Music by T.
At Music by T, and then the new platform I'm building. I'm just gonna plug myself in.
Plug it.
Go ahead.
It's called Promu. So that stands for producer musician. Musician. So I believe as a modern day producer, you are not just a musician, but you're a music magician.
Jeez.
That's fire.
So you're so that stands for ProMu stands for producer magician. That's kind of a tongue twister. So that's PROMU, and I'm just finishing up the touches on launching it in the next couple of days. So
which means that by the time this comes out,
it'll be out,
so that's promu.io. Because I couldn't get it.
Fire.
So,
.io.
so just think, if you have a hard time remembering that, inputs and outputs. So promu producer musician.
That works out perfectly.
Promu.io.
He was too good for .ca, but we're gonna glaze past that.
All right. Well, this is Thoughts in Stereo.
Yeah. Are you gonna close?
You want to do this one? I'll do this one.
Do this one. Just drop the our new signature tagline. Thumbs if you liked it. Subs if you loved it. Nick, close us out now.
Thanks.
Oh my God, you're
Bye.
the worst. Thanks. Thank you so much for listening. Again, episode 18. More guests on the way. Thank you so much again, T, for stopping by.
Thank you guys so much. This was great.
And to all our listeners, let's get it.
Peace.